All right. Where's public? Yo. I'm just waiting for people to join. Let me just grab the link. Here we go. All right. All right. How's it, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to another live stream. All right, let's get straight into it. So, basically, today, guys, I want to go over what's happening with Bitcoin. I want to go over what's happening with the markets today. Obviously, it's a huge day. We have FOMC, we have PPR, we have a massive day within the market. So, I want to speak about what I'm looking at for the day and also what I'm looking at for some altcoins. So, yeah, let's get first. Let's just first chat about Bitcoin. All right. So, what I want to chat about is, I mean, it's just super chopped right now. My scenario yesterday was we either gonna take out this liquidity at 74,800, which is what we did, and then or we either just come we retrace back down to support and then we lose support and we look for sells, right? So right now we are forming some type of support and we're also forming some type of trend over here, which is something to watch out for Bitcoin. Okay, so what's happening, guys? What's happening, Sockman? What's happening, Trick? Hope everyone's doing well. So basically with Bitcoin, this is what I'm looking at on the 1 hour time frame. It's kind of choppy right now. We're either going to get a break below support or we're going to get a break above this trend over here. So basically what I want to see is I just want to see price either take out this level over here. So something like this where we either come down, we look for longs on the breakout. Okay, so this is something to look at, right? Or we either just break down over here, we look for sells, all the way back down to these lower levels, right? So right now, I can't really do anything at this level just because of the fact that, it's looking a little bit choppy. Yeah, I know it's going to be crazy, guys. The market today, we've got PPR at 230. And then we've got FOMC. So, what I'm thinking today is I don't think we're going to actually get much movement until we get like the data release. So personally, I don't know if we'll get any trades before that, just because it's the market loves to wait for news. So honestly, I'd probably just look for like reaction zones where we can potentially get setups. So that's what I'm gonna try going today. Where where can we look at like the liquidity, for instance, right? So like if I look over here on the heat map today, we have a whole bunch of liquidity at like 73,100, right? So let's chuck that in. So 73,100. So there is also a fair bit of gap sitting there. So this is something you want to draw these reaction zones in because this is where the market tends to come to, right? So this is a key level that we can potentially get a reaction from for Bitcoin, for instance. And then if you go back over here, we also have liquidity sitting at 75,397, right? So 75,397, 75,397. So round about here, okay, 75. Excuse me. Excuse me. 75,397. Okay, so honestly, guys, like this is something to look at. I mean, I still think that we're probably going to get one of these zones today. Okay. But, the thing is right now, I can't really take a trade within this mid range. Like we kind of just chopping around this area over here, which is something that, I didn't personally trade these zones. So you just have to kind of just be patient and just wait for some type of reaction at these levels. But something that I do want to quickly go over is, this setup here. I don't know if any of you guys did take this. It was kind of chopped. I was looking at this today for Tower. Personally, like I was waiting for price to hold this level here. I do think that Tau is probably just going to take out this level 288 today. We did get a breakout in the, of the zone over here. So I do think that Tau, personally, I didn't take the setup, but there is a target of around about the level that I've got over here at like 288. So I do think that Tau has potential to continue going higher just based on like the daily and also the 4-hour time frame. You can see that Tau got that reaction of that zone. We actually spoke about that zone a couple of days ago as well, looking for longs off this level here. But if you look at the 4-hour, we're holding support, the 1 hour as well, holding the zone over here. It's kind of just ranging right now, but like within the lower time frames, you can see that price is looking like it wants to go higher, more likely to go lower. So yeah, personally, I'm not in the setup, but you could potentially look at a TP at like these areas at 284 or like 288 if you are in this position. So that's something to look at. But I want to go over Ethereum as well. So like with ETH right now, like yesterday, if you guys remember, let me just move this trend over here. But basically, I was waiting for price to this is our weekly high, okay? Let me actually just remove all this stuff over here. So our weekly high is sitting at around about 2386, and then our weekly low is sitting at 2164, right? So I mean, if you look at this, we have quite a big range, right? I mean, for Ethereum, for Bitcoin, it's a lot smaller, right? But for ETH, you have quite a big range, and this is just sideways chop. Okay. So what you want to look for is you either see like price, because if you just look at this, it's just a square. It's just pretty much a square blank. You can't really do anything, right? So what I want to see is maybe we take out this high and then we look for shorts all the way back down to the weekly low, right? So that could be a good option that I'm looking at for potential trade. Or we manipulate this range and then we look for longs back up to the weekly high. Wait for a break of structure, higher lows being formed, something like that. So I mean, personally, right now, I would obviously just look for, a breakout of this range first, because if we don't break this range, we're just going to go sideways, right? You know what I mean? So we have to somehow break out of this range, and it's just been chopping since Monday, right? So it's Wednesday now, and that's why it's been pretty hard getting setups, because especially when ETH goes sideways, it kind of the altcoin market has just been struggling as well. So yeah, personally, I'm not really going to do anything within this level over here for ETH. So I'd rather wait to see if we can get like a close above that weekly high. Let me just remove something like this. So basically, I want to see price pretty much manipulate this high, and then we look for sells off that level, right? So we either get like price to take out this level, and then we look for sells, or I want to see price take out like this low over here from Monday, right? This is Monday low. Take out Monday low and then look for longs back up to the weekly high. Okay. So like honestly, right now, I'm just gonna play it by ear, because I mean, I don't want to be trading in this range. I'll be honest with you. Trading in this range it doesn't look great. So yeah, I wouldn't look for any trades for Ethereum right now. I'd wait for price to either break out of the zone, but I'll let you guys know in the community. Okay. So that's for Ethereum. Then if we look for yeah, so the problem is right now, like for Total 3. So I love to look at Total 3 because it shows us the altcoin market cap. And basically with Total 3, guys, let me just remove some of the stuff so it looks a little bit more. Here we go. So if we look at Total 3, obviously we're out of this range right now, right? We're stuck in this range for literally like a month, a whole month and a half, right? So we did get out of the range. We spoke about that. We do have a level like 769, around about that level where I'm looking at. Regarding Bitcoin, thoughts on the triangle currently forming, and yeah, I'll go over Bitcoin again just after Ethereum, but yeah, that's a good question. So basically, with Total 3 right now, I honestly just don't think, I would think that we're gonna take out this high before we reverse, right? So we have retested this level already, so I wouldn't assume that we're gonna come down here and then get a push. I'd rather see us take out this 769, get everyone ultra bullish, and then we actually just get wrecked, right? So if you look at the 4-hour time frame as well, the problem is we are stuck. That's why I had that drawing over there, right? Because we are stuck in this gap over here, which is basically the selling pressure zone, right? And then if we look at the 1 hour time frame, what I'm actually looking at is you can see how price is it's kind of rolling over here. But what I want to see is I want to see price start to close above this 1 hour level over here. Okay, for me to actually flip bullish here and look for longs, right? Because if we close above this level over here on the total 3, then we do have some steam for the altcoins, right? So we could potentially look at the takeout of this high, right? But what I want to reiterate is like if we start losing this most recent low over here, we also have this something like this, right? If we start losing this chain and also this most recent low, then we're obviously looking like we're going to roll over here. Okay, so personally, I'd rather wait to see if we get a close above this level here because like some tokens are looking pretty good for longs, but we do have to obviously just be patient and wait for Bitcoin and ETH to just get out of the consolidation range. I mean, it's just super chopped right now. Like it's hard to get set up, and I honestly just don't think we're going to get much before the news today, right? It's just I don't think there is going to be anything going to be happening today because we have PPR, which is pretty big, guys, and then we also have FOMC, which is one of the biggest like days of the month, right? So it's gonna be crazy. Today's gonna be pretty crazy. So if we go back to Bitcoin, just to answer your question, I mean, this is kind of what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Like I said, we do have liquidity at around about these levels here, like 73,100, and then we have liquidity at 75,392. So this is where the high liquidity is sitting, and this is where the low liquidity is sitting. So if I go long today, I want to see a breakout of this level, and then I would look to take profit at this level here because this is where we could look for a short, right? We could look for a short back down to this zone today. Personally, what I'd be wanting to see is I would want to see price take out this level over here, look for long back up to this zone, and then when FOMC comes out, we're probably going to try to liquidate these lows again and these highs. So, if I get a trade today, it's gonna have to happen like within the next hour or so, or the next 2 hours, because I personally don't want to trade PPR, and then also after trading PPR, when going into FOMC, there's going to be a lot of it won't be like viable in my opinion, because when we have 2 news days, you could also look at this triangle. I think that's what you're looking at, right? So yeah, but the only thing with this, we do have liquidity and a fair value gap sitting here, so I would expect this to look for longs, right? So I'd personally look for a long at this area. You have quite a nice stop loss as well. You just put it below this recent low over here, and then you target this high. So risk to reward of like 1 to 2. So this is something that I'd look at. I mean, you wouldn't even look at the trend line just because you just play in the liquidity zones, right? So, yeah, I don't really see much else for Bitcoin right now. I mean, obviously, if we lose this level, we can come down a little bit lower. But I just want to speak about like the intraday range there for Bitcoin. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for the short term. That is for the short term, and then. Yeah, it's going to be quite a short live today just because there isn't much happening, like ICP. I mean, WorldCoin yesterday, like it was so choppy. Like I did actually take this long, and then I didn't actually close out. I was holding. I'm still actually in this trade. I was meant to close out at this high at like 0.4, which is at the fib level. But I'm pretty sure like if some of you guys did take this, you would have been scared of this level here. Because this is still so choppy, right? I was hoping that we'd just get a push straight away off that level, but we didn't actually get that. We actually, disrespected the zone over here, which is, I mean, this price actually just looks really, really choppy, right? So it wasn't the best trade, in my opinion, but it did play out. So it was something to look at. I think Tau is just going to rip it today just based on the structure. Tau looks really, really good here to continue going higher, but I wouldn't enter at this current price because, your stop loss would have to be below here and you're not really targeting much. So yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, Rune is something that I'm looking at. Sorry, no, it was just Sui. Yeah, just Sui. So Sui, look at Sui, guys. This is a token that I'm actually looking at for longs, right? And the reason why is because we closed above here. We're respecting this value area high on the daily time frame, so quite a big confluence. But on the 4-hour time frame, it's just still super choppy. So I want to see like more structure being formed, and then we wait for like a breakout, right? because right now, the only thing we have is we're above the value area high on the daily, right? And I'm not going to just take a trade based on that. Although your risk to reward is pretty good, it's the upside, but I would want to see like a lower time, because you can also see over here on the 4-hour time frame, we have this trend over here. And obviously, if we are holding this level, this trend line on the 4-hour time frame, if we start losing that zone, then I'm just not going to look for longs anymore, right? So I want to see like how price reacts within the zone, give it a couple more hours to see what type of structure we form before I look for these longs. Okay, so yeah, it's just, I mean, right now it's nothing really. I'm not really interested in it. But I like this. I like the structure though. I like how the daily's forming here. I like how, it looks like we're going to potentially get a move to the upside here for SWE, right? So yeah, we'll see what happens, of course. But I will be letting you guys know what I look out for this, because this is definitely a trade that I really want to look out for the day, because the daily closed and like respect to the value area high, whilst like ranging since the beginning of February to like current day, is pretty bullish, right? So closing above the range is showing that buyers are stepping in above this level. Okay, so definitely something to watch out for, and I will let you know if we're going to get the setup, because we do have quite a nice upside potential here. Looking at 1.1692, which is a nice 13% move to upside. So I would want to catch this trade if it does present itself. So I want to see how it holds against this 4-hour trend. But yeah, obviously let you know about that. But yeah, like I said, guys, it might just be super rangy today, super choppy. This is kind of what I'm looking at for ETH, and then Bitcoin structure. I want to see if we can potentially get this, this trade off this level here, or we just wait for a breakout, look for a long back up to like 75.4. And then I'll be looking to short the zone. I'll be honest with you, looking to short like 75, 400. There's quite a lot of liquidation sitting over there. So it'll be interesting to see if we can short that all the way back down over here. But just be careful. Like today is a really, really, really big day, right? Huge day in the market. So, yeah, just be careful and trade safe. You don't overtrade today. Remember, tomorrow's a new day. And also, like, we don't have much news tomorrow. We have unemployment claims, and then obviously new home sales doesn't really do anything. And then Friday, there's no news. Okay, so except for Fed, he's speaking a little bit later, but that's not as big. So rather just wait. Like if we don't get as many setups today, just rather wait for tomorrow, because we'll have more direction, because FOMC will kind of set the tone for like what's going to happen in the market. So it's a bit of a short live, just because there's not much to go over here. And I will be updating you guys in the community. I appreciate you guys for being here. I hope you guys have a good day. And if you guys ever need any, charts for me to go over, just put it down in the community. But yeah, I appreciate everyone.